Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to the AEONIAN National Startup Day webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We have seen the growth of Indian startup ecosystem in the past few years. Though COVID has impacted a lot, the entire system has bounced back, and the number of unicorns and the kind of startups that's been starting from India is quite phenomenal, and also expanding to the rest of the world. So we are delighted to have each one of you with us today for this exciting journey into the realms of startup innovation and success. In the next one and a half hours, we'll be diving into insightful discussions led by industry experts who bring a wealth of experience and knowledge in navigating the startup landscape. Our goal is to empower you with the tools, strategies, and inspiration needed to thrive in today's dynamic startup ecosystem. Whether you are at the inception stage or scaling up existing ventures, the webinar is tailored to cater to the diverse needs of startups across various industries. Expect to gain valuable insight, practical tips, and a fresh perspective that can propel your entrepreneurial journey to new heights. Once again, thank you for joining us. Let's make this webinar a collaborative space for learning, sharing, and building connections. Here's to a session filled with inspiration and actionable takeaways. Thank you all once again for joining us. So I'll take you through a quick presentation with regards to our speakers who have joined us today. I'll give you a sneak peek into what we are up to and what are the sessions that our speakers are going to talk about. So the theme of today's webinar is exploring untapped frontiers, scaling success, and securing funds. We have 4 expert speakers today. Ms. Neha Thomas, who's heading the marketing at Creative Zone based in Dubai, UAE. Mr. Abhay Tandon, who is the Digital Innovation and Partnerships Officer at TVS Motor Company. We have Mr. Sunil Koshla, founder, investor at Unicorn Next. Mr. Kanish Gaur, who is the CEO of Athenian Tech Limited. Once again, a big thank you to all our speakers who have joined us today. And in fact, I was really thankful to everyone. They all agreed for a very short notice to be a part of this webinar. So all the speakers are expert in their own fields, whether it's in international marketing and expansion. Neha is an expert who's giving all such kind of consultancy services from her Dubai office, which is Creative Zone. Mr. Abhay is a well-known figure in the national startup ecosystem. He's been helping so many startups in many forums and is being partnered with many organizations. Mr. Sunil Koshla is an international startup expert who's been working in India and US and many other countries. You got to hear from him from his presentation. Kanish Gaur been a part of a lot of deep tech startup initiatives. He's on and off into many channels, TV channels in the country. So we'll start up today's session with Mr. Abhay Tandon doing the opening address celebrating India's startup ecosystem. I would like to quickly welcome Mr. Abhay. Before that, I would like to talk a few minutes about Small Enterprise Magazine. It's a leading publication for SMEs and startups in India, which can educate and help them grow their business. So if you all want to subscribe, you can subscribe. You will get more information on the chat box. Abhay Tandon is a Digital Innovations Officer at the TVS Motor Company, as well as a co-founder and GP at the 3-to-1 campus. In the past, he has led innovations in India for 3 Fortune 100 companies, Lowe's, Target, and AB InBev. Over the last decade in technology innovation function, he has executed over 50 deep technology projects with startups and other innovation stakeholders across the value chain of retail, FMCG, and mobility. Prior to that, he has also worked with startups, was VC and consulting roles ranging across function. He has also been awarded as the top 10 corporate innovation leaders in India in 2021. Abhay is an angel investor as well as co-founder and GP to 3-to-1 Capital, Angel Syndicate, and upcoming microfund. Member of industry bodies such as NASSCOM Deep Tech Club, NASSCOM COE for AI and IoT, and official global member of the esteemed Forbes Technology Council, a chartered member of TIE, the industry entrepreneurs, and upcoming author of a corporate innovation book and a contributing author in varied publications, including Times of India, Forbes, etc. Mr. Abhay will be giving the opening address celebrating India's startup ecosystem. So let's give him a warm welcome. Over to you, Mr. Abhay.
Thank you so much, Dojo, for kindly introducing me and giving the platform to talk to everyone today, right? About my perception about the Indian startup ecosystem, right? So first of all, congratulations to everyone who is on the call today, and as we celebrate the Indian National Startup Day, right? I think this event is a very big milestone in our journey, right? I mean, we have seen, I mean, I'm sure all of us have seen startups growing and budding over the last couple of decades around us, right? Towards a place where the government officially recognized and dedicated a day to celebrate the success of the startups who are creating so much of value for the country at large and for the world too, right? And so, congratulations to everyone for being a part of this conversation today and celebrating this together. Now, as you celebrate National Startups Day, I'm not going to throw a lot of figures and data points at all of you, right? I mean, of course, there are lots of updates out there on LinkedIn today, lots of reports which are floating around, talks about India being the third largest startup ecosystem, so much of IP generation, so on and so forth. Let me just qualitatively talk to you a little bit about my experience about being a part of this startup ecosystem for more than a decade now, some of my observations, and why I'm one of those proud Indians celebrating this day and immersing myself on a day by day basis into the startup ecosystem towards a larger contribution, right? That can manifest multifold as we start seeing the impact in a lot of different sectors, technologies, and industries. So uh, I think I was reading this article on newspaper today itself. I think it's the Times of India or Economic Times. We talked about the government is launching the second level of policy around deep tech investments and creating the fund of funds towards deep tech investments. See, these are just signals that I've been observing over the period of time. We talked about 100 unicorn last year and so on and so forth, which talks about the advancement of technology innovation, of innovation, and coming from startup ecosystem in India, right? I don't know if many of you saw the Cricket World Cup or the IPL, right? Some of the most, highest viewerships that we have seen on OTT platforms. And if you see, the funny thing is that almost all the commercials today that I see in between the overs of the cricket matches are all dominated by startups, right? Consumer facing startups. And now, funnily enough, it's not just B2C startups, B2B startups as well. Again, these are small software signals which talks about how much of impact these startups are having, from ordering food via Swiggy to taking a ride via an Ola, right? To big basket and so on and so forth. And I've been seeing this growth and the journey. US retailer called Target. The Target is a Fortune 30 company, about $100 billion of top line, right? And they were in 2016, 17 timeframe, they were, or rather 18, they were celebrating that they were able to deliver in a market like US groceries and fresh produce in a span of less than 2 days. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I was the only Indian on that call when this announcement was being made, and I felt kind of ridiculous, right? And I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'll still share this nonetheless, right? The ridiculous aspect for me at that point of time was we had big basket and they have Target delivering this fresh produce, right, and groceries. Big basket in a complicated market with complicated infrastructure would still deliver groceries in 2 hours time. And of course, since then, Zepto and others have piled on that race with dark stores and delivering in 10 minutes. But even in 2018, Big Basket was able to deliver fresh groceries to me in 2 hours. Where Google Maps failed in a market where Google Maps failed because of the infrastructure issues. Where, for example, in Bangalore, one road is called Hoso Road, which goes all the way to Hoso, right? And you still find it difficult to find addresses. You have potholes on the street sometimes, and still we are able to deliver it. That's the technology prowess that we had developed. And in US, they were celebrating that they would be able to deliver the fresh produce in 2 days, right? Which seemed so archaic. And when we started getting deeper into these conversations, I realized that because of the kind of population that we have, because of the constraints that we have been able to solve a lot of problems much faster than a lot of Western countries today, right? And that is where today, when we talk and celebrate the Indian National Startup Day, we celebrate the effort of those countless people who have delivered solutions which are not just impacting India but impacting the whole world, right? And the countless of solutions. And apart from delivering solutions for the world and this kind of impact that they've created, let me also talk about few major aspects that I feel are very strong impact points, right? One is job creation. Imagine the impact that startups have had today in terms of the payout policies and the parity in that. in the startup ecosystem, where today there's a reverse brain drain happening across the globe. There was a time when people would want to go to US to settle down there because they felt that they were getting competitive salaries there. Today, for the kind of purchase parity that we are seeing today, a startup, is ending up paying enough salary to the right talent in their teams, good salary enough that the purchase parity is sometimes probably much higher than that of my counterparts in US as well, right? So that's the job creation, that's the impact in the livelihoods of people that we are seeing, right? A lot of people about a decade and a half back could not think there could be delivery executives and they could earn a meaningful livelihood, that they're able to do that today while working with Swiggy, Zomatos, and other such marketplaces in the country today, right? So there's a lot of impact creation that has happened via job creation. Another is that of IP and innovation impact, right? Lots of amazing IP being developed. I'm not saying that we are the best in the world. There's a lot of scope further for us to improve in terms of how we but I think given the constraints, the kind of growth that we have seen year on year, even the global innovation ranking clearly signifies that the impact of startups is not just in terms of standalone research, but actual impact creation through innovation and IP filings as well. Third is policy impact. Uh, Lots of policy impact is happening, right? Today government is in is pushed into that corner where they have to take very clear, crisp action. And one such example of policy impact that I was seeing, Chandrasekharan, our union minister, right? And to my surprise and well fortune, what I realized was that in the conversation with them, he was able to get into the nitty gritties of very detailed policy making around quantum computing. Something that I did not fathom that policymakers at the government level would be aware of, but he was aware of that and he spoke about some very specifics about how the quantum ecosystem in India is being promoted through the policy that they are creating. So was the case with drones and other such emerging technologies out there like 3D printing, nanomaterials and technology, and so on and so forth. So it's very important to see the impact that has had, the startup ecosystem has had, where the pressure then moved on to the government for them to enable the ecosystem further, right? It's a cycle. And today there's so many policies out there, amazing policies out there that have been crafted at both the state as well as the national level towards impact creation. The last is social impact, and definitely not the last. I'm sure there's so many more, but social impact is again close to heart. There's so much of work that is being done in the social sector, on the sustainability side, on the green energy side, and so on and so forth, which is ensuring that we are not just developing our country at large or global markets at large, economy at large, but we are also ensuring that we are sustainable and we are moving towards a very strong UN SDG set of goals that we have crafted for the country at a national level as well, right? So a lot of this goes, the credit goes to the startups who are, putting in tireless effort towards building a meaningful life for all the people around themselves. Some of the examples that I would also probably like to share, right, which have I've interacted with very closely. Since I spoke about quantum computing, I'll give you an example of a startup called Boston QSci. Boston QSci is a quantum computing simulation startup, right? And I've been one of those lucky people who managed to invest in them at a very, very young stage. Today, they are at a $20 million valuation. And I've been fortunate enough to see the growth, right? And these three founders, two of them are PhDs in quantum computing from New York. But the interesting thing for me was they started the startup from their hometown in Bhelai. A lot of people did not even know where Bhelai is in India, and that's where they started the startup. And today they're bringing so much of value to a lot of auto players around the world, to a lot of aerospace players as well, right? Because of bad simulation engineering that has happened in the past. They are allowing new emerging technologies such as quantum computing to ensure that those simulations run at such a high accuracy in such a short turnaround time. The enterprise are being impacted because the GTM is much faster, but at the same time, they're not compromising on the consumer safety. In fact, they're adding much more layers to consumer safety today so that people do not go through issues. For example, in electric vehicles, today you see bike fires. These kind of situations will not occur if the simulation engineering has happened at a more effective and efficient level, and that's what they're contributing to. So it's amazing to see the kind of commercial impact that they're creating, but at the same time, they're also creating impacts in the lives of millions of people out there. Another example of my personal investment that I would like to give is that of Sanfe or a PSafe, right? They started, looking at solving problems for women healthcare and hygiene products. Again, I was lucky to invest in one of them at an early stage, and I'm seeing the kind of impact that they're creating in the lives of the women, who are going through unhygienic conditions around in the tier two, tier three, tier four cities, and sometimes even in tier one. and they're able to, through physical and through basically omni-channel environments, they're able to percolate these products so that women are able to use these and ensure that they are not getting impacted by the unhygienic conditions resulting in a lot of ailments. One very good one that I also like personally, and admire them, is Gravity Labs. Gravity Labs was a prototyping lab, right, based out of India. Of course, they have since then been recognized by MIT, governments, various governments across the globe, right? Very interesting thing that they did, right? They were able to actually extract suit from air. Now, imagine carbon suit is the one which is supposed to absorb the pollution. They're able to very, very, very low cost. They're converting that into inks and dyes. These inks are today being used by manufacturers, for example, Adidas or Nike in their merchandise, right? Or they're used to paint billboards. So they are ensuring that the air gets pollution free in certain environments, and that residual carbon soot is then converted into inks and dyes, which are even used in Royal Enfield's a new showroom where the tiles are made of the same inks and dyes. Right. So isn't that fantastic? And that is, I think, something that I've seen all across the different industries and sectors. Fossil in agri-tech. I know some of you might be agri-tech founders, right? And it's amazing to see how at the farmer level, at the grassroots level, impact is being created through the startups and their products. So is the case with Khata Book for SMEs, right? And since we are at an event which is focused on SMEs as well, SME startups, I think the impact is very, very prevalent across the industries, across the board. And on that note, I would just like to wish everyone a very, very happy National Startup Day, and may all of you contribute continuously towards building this ecosystem into a very, very strong, self-sufficient Atmanirbhar ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay, for that introductory opening session. I really appreciate your time, and you set the stage. Thank you very much. Your contribution for the day, today being the National Startups Day. You had set the tone right, and thank you very much for that. So moving on, thank you once again, Abhay, for this time and your contribution.
Pleasure.
So
Thank you.
thank you. So we'll get on to the next speaker, Sneha, who will be talking about expanding your business, the global expansion, and why Dubai is the choice for entrepreneurs. Neha Thomas is head of marketing at UAE's largest and most trusted business advisory company's Creative Zone. She is a highly accomplished marketing professional with over 12 years of experience in the field. With a master's degree in business administration specializing in marketing and operations, Neha has worked across diverse industries, including education, luxury hospitality, and business consulting. Currently, she oversees the marketing department of Creative Zone and offers consulting services to free zones in the region under her leadership. Creative Zone has expanded their wings to Saudi Arabia and Qatar and have launched successful events like Startup Academy Series, accelerator programs, and various other launchpads. Apart from her work in the industry, Nay is also a guest lecturer at one of Australia's leading universities in Dubai, the Murdoch University. She covers topics on freelancing and consulting, sharing her extensive knowledge and experience with students. A passion for education and mentoring is also reflected in her frequent contribution to magazines like Campaign Middle East, CEO Middle East Magazine, Arabian Business, Zavia, Dubai Chronicle, and other prominent publications where she talks about various topics on marketing, operations, and business consulting. So let's give a big round of applause to Ms. Neha Thomas. Ms. Neha, over to you.
Thank you, Jojo. In fact, I do have a visual aid. Jojo, do you want to just open that? Because I don't want to go off tangent, because if you talk about the startup community, how companies are expanding to the UAE from different parts of the world, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and it's quite an interesting subject. Because as Abe had mentioned, I mean, we can see there's a huge influx of SMEs or startups being established in India, and we can see the same resonating within the UAE. So if India is booming, if any other country is booming, a person's next choice of destination to do business would be the UAE. And There are reasons behind that. I mean, there are so many reasons why people choose to expand their business to the UAE. I'll be talking about a few of those points. And when it comes to UAE, it's not that straightforward, I believe, as it is to open a business in India. And that's why business consultants like Creative Zone, we've been in the market for 14 years now. We've helped over like 100,000 entrepreneurs set up their companies within the last 14 years. So we've seen it all, right from how Dubai was 14 years ago. It wasn't that easy to for a company to come and establish themselves or open a branch company. There were a lot of documents and regulations that needs to be taken care of. But now the whole system has kind of eased up, and we or the UAE is inviting more foreign investment to come into the region. They're providing aids, funding, monetary support, accelerator programs, incubator centers, so that it's they care more about especially when Abe said about creating that sustainability element to things. Yes, UAE is kind, we just recently hosted the COP 2028. We're focusing giving a lot of emphasis to sustainability companies, and there's a lot of financial aids that's being given to companies that support sustainability and green revolution, I would say. So as I mentioned before, like the question is why Dubai or why UAE? So I'm just talking about the Dubai advantage. That's how I like to call it. I mean, why is there an advantage for in Dubai? Why not go to the UK, US, and start your companies? But why UAE? Overview of the SME market in Dubai. Earlier, we were a very oil-centric country. 10, 15 years ago, everything was in the oil and gas industry. There wasn't many service industries or retail sectors. But right now, if you can see the proportion, only 11% is in the industry sector, and the rest is all coming from the service and the retail sectors. We can see the influx of companies that's being established year on year. So if you see 2022, there was a 24% increase in the companies being established in 2023, and we can see the trend is just increasing year on year. There are more and more companies from different parts of the world coming and establishing their roots in Dubai. 86% of the labor force is adding to the GDP, and there's the non-oil segment producing SMEs are at a higher growth rate right now. So moving on. So this gives you an overview, UAE by the numbers. So UAE comprises of 7 emirates, a very minimal population compared to that of India. We have, we're ranked number 1 in the ease of doing business. 94% of the companies here are SMEs who are in their growth stage. Our location is very strategically located, so the connectivity to the east, west, north, south, everything is best when it comes to Dubai, and hence we have a lot of these import-export companies being established in the region. A main reason why people choose to come to Dubai again. See, if you go to the previous slide, I mean, the ease of setting up a business. I mean, it's not like back in the days 10 years ago where there were 100 documentation processes that need to be fulfilled. Right now, you can actually register a company within 1 day. I mean, within 12 hours. So that's the easiest way you can, establish a company in the location. The prices, unlike before, it's much more cheaper right now. So you can get started from in a free zone company for as less than 6,000 dirhams, let's say. So I'm talking in AED again. Until last year, we were a tax-free jurisdiction. So literally there was 0% corporate tax. But now in 2023 June, UAE implemented a 9% corporate tax. But again, there's some thresholds. Not all companies have to pay this corporate tax unless you fall into a certain threshold in terms of your net profit. We back in the days, again, there was a 51-49% ownership. So 51% of your company was mandated to be held by a local Emirati, but right now rules have changed. You can own 100% of your company, so there's no partnership anymore. So as an expat or as an individual, you can own 100% of your company and keep all the profits for yourself. The You can get visas easily. I mean, especially for Indians, there's no nationality restriction. It's very easy for Indians to apply for a trade license and get your visa sorted. We have the best infrastructure in Dubai. I mean, name it. I mean, it's one of the safest places to live in. I mean, I can still go to bed at night without locking my main doors. So that's how safe this place is. In terms of education for kids, I mean, name it, you have it. I mean, do you want to send your children to CBSE schools or international schools? I mean, the whole advantage here is it's a mix of culture. I mean, you get to interact with like literally 100 different nationalities here, and you can see how different they, the way they operate. You learn from them. So it's a mix of a culture over here, and I feel that adds a lot of value to as a person, as a growing business for your for your business. Again, manpower supply. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a number of universities out there. I mean, you can recruit people, students for internships. You have different nationalities, and all of these people are readily available. I mean, it's not that complicated as before to hire talent, unless you fall under a certain bracket where you have to hire an Emirati to maintain that quota, which is for big companies again. So you can see over here where, I mean, there was a recent article where it seems like Dubai is the place where all millionaires are migrating to. So here, if you see, the blue is the incoming population and the orange is the outgoing population. So if you can see, from my experience, we as Creative Zone Group, we handle a lot of these free zones as well. So from all these group companies put together, we can see around 70% of people who set up their businesses in the UAE are Indians. Then comes the UK, Pakistanis, Bangladeshi. So, I mean, we can see there's a huge, population of people, of Indians who actually established their roots in the UAE, because you can actually call UAE as your second home. I mean, you feel no less. I mean, you feel as if when you go out, you feel it's just like home. It's just okay. The climate would be a bit different, but apart from that, this is. I mean, I never felt as if I was away from home. So that's the freedom, the exposure you get in this country. So there's various options here in Dubai. So this is one reason why consultants like Creative Zone are required in the country, because if you look at it, we have seven Emirates. So seven Emirates have seven mainland license options to provide you. Plus, on top of that, there are 53 different free zone jurisdictions that you can choose from to open your company. So this kind of, I mean, especially for an expat or somebody who's not familiar to the UAE, you get confused. So that's when, consultants like us will come and advise you, like which jurisdiction, which free zone, or which mainland license is best for your business activity. So this clearly depends on what type of business activity you're running. The type of shareholders. Is it partnership? Is it a holding company? Or what kind of, how many visas do you want under your, how many employees would you want to hire in future? Would you require an office space in Dubai, or you just plan to work remotely? And do you want to establish relations with the government? Do you want tenders? So all, depending on all of this, there are certain jurisdictions which would be best for your business activity. So again, that clearly depends case to case, based on what you actually want to achieve. So these are just a few options, just a few. We have 53 different free zone options. So when it comes to a free zone, so the main options here are free zone license and a mainland license. So coming to free zone license, it allows for 100% foreign ownership. It's one of the easiest license options that you can get. There are 53 different free zones. Every free zone is different in certain ways. So certain free zones are good for certain business activities. So for example, if you're going for a media related business activity, there's Sharjah Media City, which is like the center of media, podcasts, webinars, all of these media centric filmmaking, all of this. So we push our clients to take that specific trade license for media companies. So most of the cases for free zone companies, they do not require a physical office space. However, there are certain restrictions for certain nationalities, but for Indians, it's all good. Again, you can keep 100% of your capital and profits. There is no upfront. You don't have to put up a paid up capital before starting your company. You can literally get your trade license with zero investment. You don't even have to be in the country if you want to register your company on a free zone. Unless you're applying for a visa for yourself, for the investor, you can literally start your company completely remotely. So you don't have to be in the UAE to get started initially. And all these, you can get the free zone license issued within, see there, the quickest is they say 4 hours. So that's how quick you can issue your trade license. So these are some of the major free zones in Dubai, in UAE. So as I mentioned, it's specific for certain activities. So Sharjah Media City, as I mentioned, for media production, filmmaking, podcast, everything, it's best. It's not that the other free zones don't offer that, but they have a certain, a center just, focusing like a state-of-the-art facility that focuses more on these business activities. We have Sharjah Publishing City. Again, it's if you're a publication, a book journal, I mean, all of those activities can go there. We have Dubai Knowledge Park if you are into education sector. So you have to get KHTA approval. So all that will be belong to the Dubai Knowledge Park. We have Dubai Internet City. So all your IT companies can go under Dubai Internet City, and Dubai Silicon Oasis, they have a DTech hub. So all technology companies are, we advise them to go to these free zones. Media City, all the media related publishing activities, everything would go to Media City. We have the ports again for all the import export activities. We have Jebel Ali Free Zone, Javsa, we have Ajman Free Zone, we have Ras Al Khaimah. So all these are closer to the ports. So that's where all these import export activities take place, and your license is most likely to be registered over there. So these are certain examples of how you choose your jurisdiction, but again, you can get a bit confused. So always feel free to get an expert advice before registering a business if you have expansion plans in mind. Because once you register, now if you want to change your mind, if you change your mind, it's quite difficult to go back. You'll have to cancel this license again, reapply for a fresh license. So that's extra cost that we're talking about. So rather than doing all of that, it's best to get an initial consultation or advice from one of these consultants, and then make your choice. Going on, we have Dubai Mainland. Again, it's like one of the most prestigious licenses that you can hold. See, if you have a mainland license, so with a free zone, if you're in Sharjah free zone, you can do business only within Sharjah jurisdiction, right? So if you are a retail or a distributor, and you want to distribute your goods to say Dubai, then you will have to have a third party who has a mainland license to distribute your goods. You can't do it directly. So there are certain limitations for free zone. However, if it's mainly like consulting or service industry, I mean, it's quite open for both free zone and mainland. There's fewer nationality restrictions here. You can rent office spaces anywhere in the UAE. You can do business with any jurisdiction, any emirate. So there are certain, you can get government tenders or government contracts with the Dubai Mainland license. Unlike a free zone license, you can't get that. So it's quite straightforward. If you look, I mean, if you have any kind of expansion plans in mind, um, all you need to do, I mean, you must be having, I mean, I know addressing this note to startups in India. So you already have an existing business there. So you'll have your business activity clear in your mind. So we offer over 3,000, 4,000 different business activities that you can choose from. So again, each jurisdiction has their own little list. So we'll have to check which is the best for your business activity. Select a business structure. If it's a single owner shareholding, so we have to select that. The right free zone jurisdiction or mainland jurisdiction. Then it's just about paperwork, submitting your passport copies. There will be a checklist, and it's just placing that forward, and then your trade license will be issued. Now, if you want to open, the next one of the major concerns would be opening a bank account. So it normally takes some time, but nowadays, since all these digital banks like Vio Bank have come into existence, it's much more easier than before. So you can get your bank account issued within a couple of days, not more than that. But if you want to open a bank account, then you will have to have a UAE residence visa. So that means you will have to be the investor of your company. So the visa will be issued in your name, and then you can open a bank account. So for opening a bank account and for issuing the visa, you will have to be physically present in the UAE, because there are medical tests that's being done. Everything is just like not more than 1 hour. It doesn't take more than 1 hour, but you have to be present to do all these verification. And even for the bank opening, you'll have to be physically present at the bank to make sure that you're legit. So that's the cases where you'll have to be in the country. Otherwise, if it's just a trade license, you don't have to be in the country to open your company. You can do everything remote. As I mentioned, UAE has incorporated the corporate tax recently. So we're still, I mean, all these years, nobody has heard the term of corporate tax. So we're still digesting the fact that 9% needs to be paid as corporate tax. However, there's no income tax, so whatever you make goes to your pocket directly. That's one reason we all love to be in the UAE. There's no tax, so whatever you earn, you keep it. So this is just a few steps on the corporate tax. Again, it's one of the least, the minimum figures across the globe. If you look at it, I'm not sure what's the current corporate tax rate in India, but here it's only 9% right now, which is the least, I would say, across. So there are certain exemptions. Again, if your net profit lies below 375,000 dirhams, you don't have to pay corporate tax. So there's a lot of leniency that's been given by the government just to ease the process of doing business here in the UAE. Also, there's a lot of government support, accelerator programs, incubation centers, where you can actually pitch your business idea, and you never know. I mean, you might just get a call, for them to come and invest in your company or your startup, because UAE is so open to new ideas, especially new technologies. I mean, we're in a complete, surge of all this AI, blockchain activities, and whatever novel ideas you bring on the table, they're ready to listen to it. So yeah, that's about, I'm just giving you an overview of how UAE looks to you, and it just feels like home. So if you have any plans, or, if you're in that stage where you want to take your business to the next stage, one of the, the best locations would definitely be Dubai. And it's just 3 to 4 hours away from Dubai. So it's very close. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address that.
Thank you, Neha, for that the quick presentation on the facilities offered by the government, and the kind of support that you are going to give to entrepreneurs to come to Dubai and set up the office. It's a great opportunity for Indian businesses to expand, no doubt about it. So thank you very much. Let's move on to the next speaker, Kanish Gaur. Kanish has been a part of our events and seminars quite often. a global authority in the cyber security and national security, Kanish Gaur is a force to be reckoned with in the realms of cybersecurity, data protection, digital laws, and national security. He is recognized as a national security expert, and he is a trusted advisor to top governments, including British and Indian administrations, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and the leading global tech companies. Since we are running short of time, I would likely welcome him to talk about the benefits of AI. So let's welcome Mr. Kanishk, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dojo, and thank you, Neha, for that fantastic session. Learned a lot, particularly around what's happening in Dubai. And obviously, it's a great market to be in, one of the largest markets. So, my session today is going to be focused on how artificial intelligence could really help small and medium scale businesses transform and grow. As a founder of a startup in the deep tech space, I am today using artificial intelligence on a lot of my work, which is across marketing, for building up content, for building up designs, for automating a lot of workflows. I use both ChatGPT 4 and Bard from Google, and I see a lot of benefits. So, if you are a startup founder, one of the key things which is required today for you to keep a tab is on AI. You have different functions within your organization, whether it is sales, marketing, uh, branding, keeping a tab of revenue, investments, human resource functions, building up policies, procedures. All of that can be simplified today using artificial intelligence. One of the key issues which I find with founders is that they are trying to do too many things at the same time. And while they may be a domain expert in one area, but on the other areas they might are not very strong. So they rely on their next in line leadership. But what it's very important for founders today to use a time to train themselves. So today, as a founder of a startup in deep tech space, I'm trying to teach myself artificial intelligence. One of the simplest things that I'm trying to learn is Chat GPT and GPT-4. And it's as simple as downloading apps which you download on Play Store, where you've got a Google Play Store or a Apple Play Store. Simply on ChatGPT 4, you could download thousands of apps and use these apps for automating your business. Now, these apps help you build out your concepts on different areas. So today, using GPT-4, I have been able to build out a lot of policies and procedures which are required for regulatory compliances, understand specific laws and norms. I've also looked at doing aspects on social media marketing management, or how I have been spending on my ads, whether it is on Facebook, whether it is on Twitter, monetize, identify keywords where I could use for promoting my company. A lot of you would be using PR firms for doing SEO, SMO, or somebody running ad campaigns. But in terms of tracking how they are efficient, you would have not built out a framework. A GPT-4 or a Bard could actually help you build out some of these frameworks and track some of these solutions end to end. Also, identify keywords which could be better suited with your business, develop tagline, even for creating your roadmaps, your presentations, while you're pitching to investors, what's missing can be built up by some of these solutions. What I have seen is people give out text messaging to AI based platforms, but they don't know how to check. So, one of the key things is how you feed your AI. It is as simple as how you teach a child at home language, or how you interact with your pet. You need to be giving full details about a particular problem statement, a background. Without that proper background, it's kind of difficult for a platform of AI to identify what it is. So, when you give a problem statement to artificial intelligence, it's very important that you give a full, proper brief, identify the issues, context, and then break down the problem into smaller areas and then look for results. You also need to tell AI sources from where it should be feeding information. Now it is as simple as telling a 10 or 15-year-old to look for sources of water to fill in a glass, but not telling him where he should be taking the stance. So you also have to direct that these are 3, 5, 7 sources where you could go wrong. These are do's and don't do's, which needs to be clearly articulated. Now, what I've seen typically in organizations is that people are not building their LLMs, integrations, particularly on AI. The other thing which I found afraid is that people believe that AI, once integrated, will take away their business or will take away too much of details. Whatever can be made public and shared with AI on a platform could help enhance productivity. The other key issue which I find is people don't want to allow their team members to use AI, but most of the employees today are using GPT-4 or Bard in their daily operations. The issue is, as founders, we stop them from using these platforms, saying it will take away originality, it will take away content, it will take away ideas. This is one of the key issues that I found. But most of your employees are using AI behind, whether it is for creating a diagram, whether it is for creating an ad, whether it is for writing content. So please stop living in this dilemma that if you don't allow AI to be used, people are not going to use it. Everybody is trying to use AI. The better you create mechanisms, it's gonna only help your organization. Uh, I've got a couple of slides which I wanna showcase, uh, typically which I use in my presentation. So, what are some of the areas where I think AI can play a very, very important role is speech, voice recognitions, sentiment analysis. So, if your business is around customer sentiment, whether it is consumer marketing or social media ads or recommending engines for search engine optimizations or driving content, AI is going to help you. Text analytics, natural language processing, anomaly detection, like in case of cyber, I use AI for behavioral anomaly detection. AI is helping me in a big way. Today, a AI-based agent is actually helping me keep a tab of my organization's inform, even develop performance measures and management, develop frameworks for which I can help people in their appraisals. If I have something that I have developed for appraisals, AI has helped me enhance it further. The other areas which I've seen is that AI is also helping me automate a lot of my decisions. So, the whole attendance system of my organization is automated using AI. And I'm using biometric. I'm also using natural language processing to figure out what are some of the keywords which are impacting my organization's productivity. What are the searches which my team is running on the internet? What kind of detection AI is able to do when it comes to some of the content which we are using? So whatever videos we are creating, we are running it in AI to find out what are the videos which people are relating to, what kind of sentiments they are able to draw out. So these have been some of the big drivers. So if you are in a company today in a SME segment, I can suggest that this slide will give you a view how AI adoption is happening across the market. The highest adoption of AI space has been particularly in the high tech space, which is today called the space which is adopting, including VAS, telecom, basically the telecom plus value added services. We've also seen automotive assembly and financial services adopting AI in a big way. We've also seen retail, media, entertainment, consumer product market using AI right now. We've seen that where there is low adoption of AI in education, healthcare, and tourism, but these segments are only going to pick up AI in a big way because they want to get consumer sentiments. So, getting a customer feedback can be made easy using artificial intelligence. And globally, we have seen AI getting used one for IT, but performance management, marketing, financial accounting, customer service are some emerging areas where AI is playing a very, very important role. We have seen Alexa, Siri, Tesla using AI in a big way, but there are other applications by Cogito, Boxever, John Paul, which are today also using AI in a big way. You've seen AI being used by Amazon, Netflix, Pandora, and Nest. But equally, we are seeing that risk around AI is a key area. So whenever you're looking at AI, it's also important that you build some level of governance, that where you will allow AI. So if you are creating chatbots, what is the content that chatbot should not allow third parties to read into or share? What kind of information a chatbot should not share is an important element that you need to explain the chatbot if using chatbot for external communication or on your website. Uh, Typical example is a Facebook fiasco, which we saw some time back because AI started using its own language, right? So that those are some of the case studies, risks in AI. So you have to look at the governance aspect of it. So when you build AI, build a governance, build out a governance mechanism, how you will take care of customer privacy, right? If you are trying to use cybersecurity in your business, then how AI can help you defend your application. So if you go on a GPT-4, you can find out there are certain softwares which can tell you if your web application is already hacked, or if your passwords are already compromised or are on the dark web, or you got an application which has got certain weak functionalities, like you've got a missing secure socket layer, or you've got an email security which is compromised, right? So this is something which AI can definitely help you as a cybersecurity professional. I can tell you, AI can really do. The other part is if you're trying to implement new solutions like blockchain, it can help you build a cyber assurance, which are typically there. So these are some of the use cases which are in AI, which I think can play a very, very important role in your organization, and it can help you safeguard your business. Typically, the other part which I see AI can really help SMEs is also look at automating workflows. If you've built out a business function from scratch, you want to automate a lot of your workflows, AI can really play a very, very important role, whether it is for developing a new product or building a product lifecycle or any kind of software level automation. AI can play a fantastic role. That's all from mine. I will leave it here. Dojo, back to you.
Thank you, Kanishk, for that quick presentation on AI. Move on to our next speaker, Sunil. I would like to quickly introduce Mr. Sunil. He comes with a experience over 22 years, the years of corporate experience as a transformational leader with a pragmatic approach and a keen appetite for building solid teams, brands, channels, and business in India and globally. Now he's contributing and impacting the startup and the social impact ecosystem. He is mostly known for his global startup outreach, or the impact that is being created. He is an innovator, he's a marketer, investor, founder, mentor, a TEDx speaker. He's a go-to-market accelerator, and he is also the founder of Unicorn Next India, a startup access for India and emerging markets. Let's welcome Mr. Sunil, and he will be talking about scaling up for startups and the opportunity for startups to scale up, and also how to approach investors to ask for funding for that. So let's welcome Mr. Sunil.
So I think thank you for the kind introduction. Though it is not about us, today is the National Startup Day, and it's all about the audience. And I believe there have been a lot of registration and a lot of people attending this. Thanks to all the speakers, Ganesh, Neha, and Abhay. They've covered a lot of good things already, and which makes my job a little easier. The only thing I would like to add on to my own introduction, which could give a lot of confidence to other startups, is that I've been part of the corporate world for around 22 years, which probably would be age of few young founders. And I think when we guys can transition from a corporate world to this entire startup ecosystem, anyone can. And so anyone who's taken this decision of entering the startup line, kudos to them. The topic, of course, is scalability, which is one of my favorite topic, because one of the fortes that we have both in Unicorn Next and another company called North Star Venture is go-to-market acceleration, where we work with like-minded startups either in India or North America to scale them up. But we can cover that later on. So I have a brief PPT, though I would love to talk more. I hope that we can have enough Q&A where I can genuinely help startups in terms of what they need. Though Dojo can probably arrange individual meetings later on as well. Okay, so firstly, welcome all of you. And again, a very, very happy National Startup Day. Of course, India, what is India? 1.4 billion people. But one important thing is that all of us are gunning towards making India as the third largest economy in the world, which is a very, very proud moment for all of us. It's only what 5, 7 years, 6 years away, but I think two key players in that would be startups and SMEs, and I'm happy that Dojo and team are now trying to cover both of them. Uh, the good part is that the growth story or the scalability is not limited to the metros or the mini metros or the top cities that we spoke about or used to speak about earlier. It's very heartening that we get people from tier 2, tier 3 and beyond. And personally, or even my team, I think we love working with people who are coming from smaller cities, because that is where the real Bharat is sitting, and I think that is where the real growth will come from. Now, of course, I was understanding from Dojo and team in terms of what are the startups that have been enrolling into these kind of programs. It doesn't matter, because even if you're early stage, pre-seed, growth stage, or even maturity stage, there are few things that you need to continuously do to either scale up or ensure that you maintain your consistent position. Okay, so now I have kept it very, very simple, though I'll talk about every topic. But please note down the important points so that once we start with the Q&A session, it's important that you can ask me the specific points linked to all these points. So we will cover 12 C's, which are linked to your startups or scalability. And I've kept it very simple. The first one is congratulations. I think there was a number given few days back that India has around 1.17 lakh startups listed. It could be more than that. But whatever said and done, you could be amongst those daring 1% founders who've thought about starting a startup, which is not easy. So a big congratulations from my side. That is the first step towards scalability, because you have to start from zero and then take it to 10 or 100. My second C is you should be very, very cautious. I will not name the programs, but there are many programs on Indian TV or international TV where it seems that the startup journey or getting cash or getting funded is easy. Trust me, it is not easy. I don't want to dishearten either of you, but data doesn't lie. 90% of startups still fail. 9% are average. 0.9% probably could be called a hit, and 0.1% are the ones who become a unicorn. So what should I do? Should I be not starting it? No. The point is that you have to be cautious. Just by making a PPT, just by having good plans, doesn't mean that you will attain scalability. Right from your research, right from what you're building, it could be a problem to a solution or a complete new opportunity. It's very, very important that you or your co-founders or your small team has those understanding that we need to be very, very careful. The third C is competency. Of course, all of us know that when you have a startup, you have a very, very small team. Sometimes it's only the founders or maybe few employees. But it's very important that those limited set of people have competencies which are well defined. Sometimes you can't, most of the times you can't even afford a CMO, right? But still, one of you would need to become that CMO. One of you need to wear the hat of a CTO, CBO. Till that time, you don't get external help, because if you have your accountabilities or competencies defined the right way, I think a lot of things will fall in place. And don't worry even if you have small team, because when we move to the next slide, you'll understand that even with a small team, how can you attain scalability? But this competency or defining and documenting the competency is very, very important in terms of the next level of scalability. Now is the fourth point, which is I think the biggest one, which is go to market. Uh, I think this is the first level of scalability. You've got your POC done, you've got your MVP done. Now, what you need to do, I think you still need to round two. Even if you've done a POC or an MVP with a limited set of people or geographies or product, doesn't mean that you can capture the entire market. Suppose your product or services is good enough for India. All of you would know that India is such a vast country, not only in terms of landmass, but in terms of the culture. That when we do the GTM, we say that one India is equivalent to 30 India. That doesn't mean that you need to have 30 plans, but you need to have at least zone wise or state wise or maybe pocket wise plans to ensure that the GTM is in the right place. So, whatever your product or service is, you have to customize, you have to localize, you have to give it a flavor as per the go to market or the route to market approach that you are eventually building up. And so, for example, if you're currently focusing only on South, then ensure that you're done with at least one part of South before you move to the second part of South. And when you're moving towards the northern part of the country or western part of the country or eastern part of the country, ensure that you do a smaller POC or an MVP in that market also, because with every 1,000 kilometers, things could change drastically, right? So go to market, and I can speak length on go to market. I was addressing around 70 odd startups a few weeks back only on go to market. And Dojo, I think we may need another meeting for go to market, but this is the biggest piece in terms of scalability. You have to get this right. Once you do the go to market or the first 3 points, the fifth C would be confusion, which is absolutely okay. Don't worry about it. A lot of you would work for 18 hours a day and still think whether I need to be in the startup space or not. Should I be going back to my normal world, or should I be listening to my friends or family that startups are not easy? Don't worry at all. This confusion will happen to everyone multiple times, but don't let it go inside your head and heart, because if you don't overcome that, forget about scalability. I think this will come, and this is pretty normal. Now comes the next piece, which is one of the topics of today, which is cash or funding. Before I come to the point enough or not enough, the first level of getting funded should always be bootstrap, meaning you should have your own money to start the startup. Don't think that you will get money from outside, even if you can, to build that startup. Because when you have your own money, it could be 10 lakhs, it could be 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, or whatever. It depends on the startup and the co-founder team. You value every rupee of it. And it is very, very important. A few of you could come from a humble background. Few of you could come from a probably upper class background. Still, I think this formula has to be equal to all. Please take care of every penny that you have. So you have to start from a bootstrap mode. Then the next general level should be friends and family. Try and raise money, small bit of money if you need operational cash. And don't just take money for the sake of it. There's no point taking money and letting it sit idle in the bank. Because you need to see, once you're done with your projections, once you know what the numbers are coming in terms of MVP or the marketing numbers or the campaigns that probably the early speaker spoke about, you would know that how much money do I need for my scalability for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months, or for the next 12 months. Depending on that, I think you should be good enough to do a very, very small friends and family around, because they are the ones, I will not call them low hanging fruit, but there is enough trust for them where you can get money with a lower dilution. Then once you prove that, and once you've done the first level of GTM, is that you go to market, whether we go to angels, whether we go to VCs, whether we go to family offices or HNIs, or we do a crowdfunding. It all depends what is the current level of your traction, what is the current level of your books. uh, Ideally, now things are changing. And I will not blame COVID for that, but there's been enough learning, and I don't want to take names of those Indian or global startups where there's been a big pushback and big learning that just by multiplying numbers or burning cash, it's not good enough. Your numbers, your profitability, your burning rate, all has to be positively impacted in terms of ensuring that whoever is even willing to give you money should know that the money is in safe hand and spend as per the numbers that you've been projecting. So at different stage, at different traction level, there are different funding modes, and we'll be happy to tell you more about that. But again, repeating, start bootstrapped, go tight, then go for a friends and family round, and then go to the market depending on your situation. Okay, so once you've got cash through whichever mode, of course, cash is never enough. It's always like not enough, but you still need to maintain the culture that was there pre-cash. Just because you have enough money through whatever source, you can't be just spending those money. Focus that, of course, this is the first moment when a founder will start getting some kind of salaries, right? Because most of the founders will initially not even get a salary. It's very important to stay lean, maintain a culture which is still tight, invest the maximum money in terms of go to market. If you're expanding in different markets, different channels, increasing your product line, multiplying the portfolio, maximum sum of money should go into that, which also means that the money should go into technology, should go into marketing, or depending on what kind of services that you want to launch. But as founders, it is very important that the culture of the company, pre-money or post-money, remains the same, because the focus should be more in terms of getting the right product to the consumer consistently. Okay, which is my next point, that the team, once you're scaling up, consistency is very, very important. The good work that you did in your POC or MVP in market one or client one, you have to be consistent. You can't pull it down. You can't be like, let me take my guards down and maybe client two or client three, or market two, market three, I can just give it to someone else and the results could be lower. So 24/7, 365 days for one market or all markets, one client, all clients, it is your consistency which will ensure that whether your go-to-market expansion or your scalability is respected or not, because that will also lead to continuation of orders, continuation of revenue, and of course retention of your profit margins. My last four C's are: you may need external help, right? So there could be different firms. There are good firms, there are bad firms. There could be an ugly scenario, but you need a partner. You don't necessarily need to increase your team size. There are a lot of services these days that are available through a right synergy partner. You can get a fractional CMO, you can get a fractional CBO, even a fractional CEO or a CFO. Maintain your core. Go back to slide one where we spoke about competencies. See what your core competencies are. Most of the founders are tech founders. If tech is your forte, then give marketing to someone. If something else is your forte, give something to someone. But ensure that you have the right partners, the right consultant building this company for you, because now you are talking about scalability. It's no more a small piece, right? So identifying that is very important, and connecting with them is also equally important. Next point, which you can link with the culture as well, you should continue to celebrate with your small team, with your channel partners, with your bigger teams, both success and failure. I'm not saying that when you have a failure, you need to give a party, but I think even a failure should be a stepping stone, that at least we have learned this in a small environment. Now we will not repeat it. So let's improve it. Let's analyze it and improve it. Okay. The next C, which ideally is C11, is to collaborate. Yes, there will be a lot of competitors, but what I tell a lot of startups, as we work with so many startups, is that there is always a space of complementing with each other. Maybe there are few startups in the same ecosystem, but don't treat them like a competition necessarily. There could be few things that they are good into and you are good into few other things. So there is always a scope of collaboration. It could be within the ecosystem or outside the ecosystem. You could do it yourself or you could do it through the consultant, but a good collaboration, especially these days when most of the startups are tech driven, could be fintech, could be edtech, could be agri-tech. Collaboration means a lot. It brings in a lot of economies of scale and it multiplies the revenue and expands the GTM for all the collaborated startups. My last C, which is C12, there could be a scenario that maybe first of your startup fails. Try and do the second one. If even that doesn't work, try and do the third one. If startup is not going for you, go back to maybe a jobs life and then come back for a startup. But they ensure that you are healthy, people around you are healthy. There are a lot of issues in terms of stress linked to startups. uh, Ensure that if you and your team are in good shape, then you can create wonders later on also. Because there's nothing more precious than life. So continue working, focus on the first 11 C's. But this one is very important because if you and your team are hale and hearty, you can build many more startups, many more unicorns. So this is a very important one, which I been speaking about. In fact, we are now devising a program for this as well, which is more linked to your your head and heart and your team's head and heart as well. So these are my 12 C's. I think all of them are very, very important, not only to get to a scalable level, but also to maintain that kind of consistency and to maintain your position, because you will take 2 to 3 years to even reach there. And of course, this is one second. This is me. Happy to connect later on. And I'm open to Q&A now, but wishing you all the best. If needed, Dojo, I'm happy to connect with any startup, give them a brief about any specific topic that they want to. But do well, stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That presentation, Sunil. We could take a couple of questions since Neha is also there. And what are the opportunities? This is from Abhishek Parjani. He is a student. He is an aspiring startup. He wants to know what are the opportunities in agricultural startups.
I can take this.
Yes.
Neha, is that
Basically,
okay?
yes, sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Neha.
Okay. So I've been mentoring a lot of young startups. I'm associated with IIT Bombay, IIT Madras, and of course Vardhani Foundation. And I've been coaching in UK, and I've been part of a fund in Canada for the last 3 4 years now. And I love working with young founders. But coming to agri, I think agri tech is a very, very key industry for the entire world. Uh, I have quite a few startups in that portfolio, both in India and America. Uh, the good part about agri-tech is that it could also be linked to clean tech and ESG. Uh, I don't know what's his background, but if you could, he could be specific. There are so many things which either improves the efficiency level of the agriculture produce or the price of the output, and both of them are needed. And it could be a tech piece, it could be a logistic piece, it could be a produce piece. There are so many options. Plus, also there are a lot of startups coming in terms of an aggregated place for agri startups, or even organic farming. And also, if he could be more specific, I can tell him whether what is the scope of that particular line.
Sunil, you also when talking about go-to-market. Okay, so I'm sure this is a major area where most of the startups are trying to understand. See, end of the day, it's reaching out to the market, showcasing your product, or getting into the top of mind recall. So, what would you suggest upcoming startups to offer a go-to-market strategy within their budget? I mean, I don't want an elaborate one, a very basic thing where you should be focusing and starting up.
Okay, so it's a big topic. So I think two things that come to my mind is number one is research, test, and do it yourself. Right. So For example, if you have an agri-tech, because we're speaking about agri, go to a rural village, if depending on who the client is or what the ecosystem is, and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Check the app with the end user or the middle layer yourself before you even think of scaling. So a lot of time founders think that just by building a product it's good enough. The first piece of go to market is whether you're taking feedback from the right person at the right time and you're listening. Because so if I'm a seasoned startup player, I think that whatever I'm building is absolutely perfect. It doesn't go like that. If whatever I'm building, if it has a channel involved, then I should take feedback of the channel before launching, after launching, then the end user. So the entire ecosystem. I think the first piece in go to market is go and take it out to the market, feedback from 10, 50, 100 people, improve your product, again go back, improve your product before you start putting in a lot of money and think that this is ready to be scaled. There is no substitute to that.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you, Sunil, for that. Quick question to Ms. Neha. We all know that Dubai market is the most vibrant market for Indian businesses and startups to move quickly. A lot of advantages. It's got the same culture, the same foods, same marketing opportunity, and of course, it's a great platform, which is strategic location. Looking at the global, expansion is a launch pad for rest of the markets from the Middle East, from Dubai. So, what kind of incentives do you provide to the Indian businesses or the startups? Everyone has got their, the normal fees structures and things like that. What kind of incentives? It could be a free consultation, or is it something that you could look more than that to enable these businesses to start looking at your services to come to that market?
Absolutely, Dojo. So, see again, as I mentioned, see, getting a trade license is just a first step, right? We offer a comprehensive, thorough, free consultation because I know as a newcomer, a person new to the country would have 10 million questions about how to go about. I mean, it's new to the person, right? So that's why we're there for you to guide you throughout your business journey. Again, getting a trade license is the easiest step. Again, what comes after that? Getting your visas, your bank account, your marketing, because you're new to the marketing scenario in UAE. It's quite different from that in India. Your financials, your bookkeeping, your VAT. I mean, there's a lot of compliance, issues also that needs to be taken care of, like your ultimate beneficiary owner, UBOs, your AMLs, your there's a lot of compliance, terms that you need to, fulfill so that you don't, get those, fines, or you don't want to attract that. So we definitely help each startup at every stage of their journey. And we have very trade license. Getting a trade license, it's a government cost. Again, we have our fee to the government, which is the cost for us as a consultant too. But we offer very good prices for our partners, especially with Dojo, your team. We can definitely do something, offer free, I mean, free consultation for sure. We can give like free corporate tax registration. We can give a couple of months bookkeeping free. So there's a lot of we can do banking for free. So there are a lot of things that we can offer in addition to the trade license, which is the government cost. Apart from that, we can offer a good a package for startups who are really looking to come to the UAE and get started.
Brilliant. So another aspect I would like to ask Neha is, you talking about the startup accelerator platform that creative free zone, or the kind of the team that you have, especially how do you think you can attract the talents from India, or help them grow by using the kind of startup accelerator, that program that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So we partner with these free zones. So last year we had conducted a startup accelerator program. It was our first time. So we wanted to see how, I mean, the market reacted to such initiatives. We had over 150 applications that came in. We shortlisted about 10 best business plans, and there was a demo day, a pitch day, where these startups could pitch in front of investors. I mean, seasoned investors. We have a whole bunch of them at our vicinity, so we have access to them. And we gave them like a free trade license. We gave them 100,000 dirhams worth of support services for them to get started. So this is something that we do. So initially was the UAE version, but see, right now we want more of foreign investment coming into the country. So this is something that we are working closely with the Dubai government to initiate such programs. So if that happens ever in 2024, I will definitely keep Dojo you informed, so you can spread the word out. So if there are any good pitches, you can send your profiles in. So you never know what happens next. Maybe you'll be in the lucky lot to get completely funded.
Yeah, so that's wonderful, actually. I mean, with this, we will definitely look into more of the AEONIAN startup initiatives. We've been doing this AEONIAN pitch and awards since 2017, and for the last 4 years, we have attracted many investors across the globe, and definitely would like to collaborate with more partners like you, and of course with Unicorn Next, what Sunil Khosla is also getting into, with a lot of synergies that we foresee that we can collaborate. This is not a session that we can end everything. I'm sure that we'll have more such sessions coming up soon, and we will definitely invite both of you and all the speakers, and maybe more on the days to come. So thank you very much. Any suggestions or any advice I would like to give, please tell in 1 minute if you can give that, because we have just 3 minutes left.
Sunil, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, Sunil, I think Sunil, go ahead.
No, so thank you, Dojo. I think all the startups who are attending and the teams who are attending, they should understand that these kind of sessions could be organized by Dojo, could be organized by Neha, could be by me or anyone. The most important part is what is the takeout that you have, because if you're spending your 90 minutes or 100 minutes in this session, you should take at least 3 learnings which you will implement with the team. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Don't attend any webinars till the time you're not taking at least 3 follow-up points, which have to be done tonight, not even tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's only, I don't know whether you're in India or outside.
No. That is really valuable.
Everyone else is in India.
Yeah.
It's only 5:35 p.m. You would have taken your notes, or probably gather your thoughts and take your notes. Sit with your core team that these are the 3 things that I learned. Can we discuss? Because if you don't do it tonight, you will never do it. Trust me. You'll be attending another webinar in the next 3 days.
Thank you.
Connect with Dojo or anyone else. Take help. Or 3 of us and more. Yes, it may be a commercial aspect for us. Like Neha and others, I also do a lot of free mentoring if I get time. But take professional help, because you'll not be able to do everything.
Thanks a lot. I'd like to ask the last question quickly. I mean, Neha, another 20-25 seconds, if you could give kind of advice to the startups.
I mean, I completely agree with Sunil. Again, it's the action that you take, and don't think it's difficult. It's easy. See, personally, I started my own business, so I never thought I would reach this stage. So it's only about the action that you take. So, I mean, see, whatever comes, it will come, but you need to make that initial step. So do that, whatever it is. I see students are also here. So if you have a business idea, don't just sleep on it, but then take action. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much. The session is ended today. Thank you very much. And we will come up with this video, which will be sent across to everyone on Geo platform, on various social media.